about the seasons?
The sun is close and small, and it circles around and above the flat Earth in a spiral pattern on the Tropic of Cancer in the northern summer months, and then down in the Tropic of Capricorn in the northern winter months.
I'm still waiting for somebody to explain the physics of these celestial objects, as they're now not only circling, they're spiraling, and then after 6 months they spiral back in. What's controlling that? Question for every flat earther out there. What is controlling the sun and the moon? And more to the point, if the sun is local, if the moon is local, can somebody please explain to me how video exists of Venus traversing the sun? Please explain. Explain to me conclusively how that is possible on a flat earth with evidence. You get £10,000. At this moment, I would like to place a small disclaimer on that previous statement. You may get £10,000. I didn't say where it was going to come from.
So when the sun is further away from the North Pole, right, the center of the flat Earth, it's winter in the north and summer in the south. Since the sun is smaller than we are told and closer, it makes much more sense that we experience seasons in the first place. If the sun was 93 million miles away and had a radius of over 400,000 miles, we would hardly experience temperature fluctuation as we do.
Yes, we do experience fluctuations. I think that's pretty much high on the list of things that are going on right now at the moment.
What about gravity?
Gravity is necessary in order for a spinning ball Earth to work. People readily believe that you can't fall off of a spinning ball that's darting through outer space at speeds that you can't even comprehend.
Pot, meet kettle. If you're talking about people being incapable of comprehending the size of the universe and the speeds in which we are travelling, in relation to the size of the universe and the speeds that we are travelling, then it's yourself, matey. Yeah, one thing I was thinking about a lot yesterday is this constant insistence by flat earthers of calling the Earth a spinning ball. Maxwell, if you will. Thank you very much. This is a ball. It is a tennis ball. This is not the Earth. It is a disingenuous misdirection of the facts to try and insinuate that the Earth in any way could be compared to this. Yes, if you covered this in water and spun it, water will indeed fly off thanks to centrifugal force. The Earth is not a ball, and it is not spinning. The Earth is a gigantic planet, and it is rotating. And we all know exactly how fast the Earth is rotating. Thank you, Bob. The speed at which the Earth is rotating, the speed at which the Earth is orbiting the Sun, is all in relation to the size of the universe we're in. It's often been argued that if we are moving so fast through the universe, why aren't the constellations changing? They are, very, very slowly. It's another aspect of flat earthers' mindset that everything must be observable. Things must be able to be seen in real time. We must be able to feel the Earth rotating. We must be able to see the stars changing. We are too small, too tiny. The Earth is too big, the universe is too big for us to notice in the very short relative space of time we are here. That's not philosophy, that's fact.
Yet they will deny how much easier it is to stay on a flat surface that doesn't move.
It does move, very, very slowly, half the speed of the hour hand on a clock. Just because you can't visualize that concept doesn't mean it isn't happening.
Gravity is a scapegoat for all that cannot be explained, and it has never been proven.
Oh yes, the good old I don't understand what a scientific theory is. To grant something the status of a scientific theory is to give it the absolute top level of authority that is possible to give something. A scientific theory is not just a theory. I have a theory why my car won't start. I have a theory why the hot water isn't heating up. The difference between a scientific theory and a normal theory is something that plays out in this scenario. Scientist 1. I have a theory. This is my evidence, this is my method, these are my conclusions. Scientist 2 comes along. I don't believe you. That's it. One scientist or somebody else who is an expert in a particular field will immediately disbelieve the person who is presenting their concept, who is saying, this is what I reckon is going to happen, this is what happened, this is how I did it, etc., etc. scientist number 2 or theoretical statistician or whoever comes along and says, I don't believe a word you just said. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to replicate your methods. I'm going to see if I can get to the same conclusions. If I choose a different method and come to the same conclusion, even better. The point is, when it's replicated accurately and proven, that is peer review. When it happens enough, that becomes a scientific theory. There's no need to prove gravity anymore, and there's no need to prove the shape of the Earth anymore, because it's been tested and verified by all. Oh, ow. Oh, sorry, I don't know where that one came from. So yes, gravity is a thing, evolution is a thing, relativity is a thing, because it's been proven over and over again by people smarter than you. Calling it a theory doesn't mean they're guessing. There is actually a counterpart to that, and it's to do with religion. But I'm not going to go there today.
The reason why things fall or float is because of density and buoyancy. If something is heavier than air, it falls. If it's lighter than air, it floats. Very straightforward. Your phone is denser than the air, therefore it falls when you drop it.
Okay, why doesn't it fall up? If things are lighter than air, why don't they float down? Simple questions, simple answers. Density and buoyancy are nothing to do with gravity and have been disproved many times by people smarter than us. It's just a lazy way of you trying to ignore the fact that you don't understand what gravity is.
Quote, "The law of gravitation is said by the advocates of the Newtonian system of astronomy to be the greatest discovery of science and the foundation of the whole of modern astronomy. If therefore it can be shown that gravitation is a pure assumption and an imagination of the mind only, that it has no existence outside of the brains of its expounders and advocates."
Well, I'm going to stop that one because he's quoting zetetic cosmogony by someone called Thomas Winship. Now, the old zetetic cosmogony comes from zetetic astronomy. It was something that was literally invented by somebody called Samuel Rowbotham, who was an absolute quack. And when I say he was an absolute quack, he killed people. Despite flat earthers launching into ad hominem at the earliest possible opportunity and slandering people and organisations left, right and centre, the moral caricature or the moral build-up of these people is completely disregarded because of the points they're making, even though they're dramatically correct. Samuel Rowbotham married a 15-year-old after his first wife died. They had 15 children, 4 of whom died. He was named in several cases of wrongful death, including one of his own children, where apparently he accidentally poisoned them and it was classed as death by misadventure. And he was also found responsible for the deaths of many other people by administering phosphorus to them, because he was a bit of a quack. In the eyes of flat earthers, throw all that aside, this is a guy we're going to trust with all of our theories.
What about the Coriolis Effect?
They say that the Coriolis Effect is a result of the Earth spinning and is responsible for the deflection of an object moving above the Earth, rightward in the northern hemisphere and leftward in the southern hemisphere. The problem is that things like hurricanes and water in the sink aren't always predictable and have been known to spin both ways.
The Coriolis Effect affecting water going down a plug hole debunked years ago.
Also, another contradiction that proves the Coriolis Effect false is the fact that no flying machine above the Earth has to account for it.
Yes, they do. They have to do it on every journey. It's minuscule. It's 1.5 degrees over several thousand miles along those lines. But they do it. They do it instinctively. Autopilots are programmed with this information. They do have to account for the Coriolis Effect.
Why can't I see infinitely far?
This is for the people that wonder why they can't see certain things that they believe they should be able to see if the Earth was flat. I've been asked on numerous occasions, why can't I see Mount Everest from anywhere on Earth? I've also been asked, why can't I see Spain from the east coast of America? Well, besides dirt, dust, dew, rain, fog, smog, smoke, clouds, mist, haze, snow.
Hugh, Pew, Barney McGrew, Cuthbert Dibble, Grub. 20 points of Gryffindor if you understood that reference.
Vision is limited by the vanishing point of your perception. Check your weather app on your phone and notice the visibility in your area.
That's it. That whole thing. If we're on a flat earth, you should be able to see for miles. Yeah, I believe I talked about this earlier. Hang on a minute, you're not getting away with that one. All the flat earth arguments about being able to see Corsica from Nice, but you can't see France from Dungeness. What's that about? You're the guys who are always going on about being able to see astronomically long distances on a flat earth, but cherry picking one photograph off the planet taken at a certain time of day during certain atmospheric conditions. So stand on the top of the White Cliffs of Dover and take a picture of the Eiffel Tower.
Is the flat earth a religious thing?
No, it's a cult.
Yes and no. I say this because I myself am not religious. I'd rather not have faith in something, but know the facts to the best of my ability. And the facts are that the curvature and motion of the earth have never been proven. The Bible, without any doubt whatsoever, supports the earth that's fixed in place. The book of Enoch, which is biblically endorsed and most likely belongs in the Bible.
Again, I'll stop you there. There are 3 books of Enoch, and none of them are considered to be canonically accepted by Jewish or Christian church bodies. So that was a lie.
Many religions and civilizations preceding Judaism and Christianity support a flat and stationary earth, such as the Babylonians, the Egyptians, the Mayans, the Norse, the Hindus, etc. This fantastic spinning globe earth is very new to the people of the world, yet most of us carry on as if the theory is unquestionable, and we've been conditioned to laugh when the flat earth is brought up.
Okay, so interesting aspect of those 8 images, the bottom right one is the only one where we knew what was going on with the planet. As I said before in previous videos, the guys who wrote these maps, or the guy who created these maps, didn't know that much about the world. So the maps they created, or their vision of the world they created, was very one-sided and myopic. Very rarely did they venture 100 miles outside their own front door, so they drew what they knew. Obviously they are very similar concepts, but obviously you have to understand who these people were at the time. As I said, at the time they didn't know that much about the world around them. I did a lot of reading up today on why north is north. I might actually do another video of it, because it's actually a little bit fascinating for my Greeky mind. Greeky mind? Geeky mind. The reason being was that some guy called Ptolemy, I think, for some arbitrary reason, decided that north was north. It used to be quite the theory of that because the larger percentage of the Earth's population lived above the equator, that was north. Not so. In fact, some old Chinese maps had east at the top of the map. Australia, there was a famous map that was done upside down called the No Longer Down Under, something along those lines. So maps are quite interesting, and their genesis and their evolution over the years is something I might go into a little bit later on, not in this video. But it was something I found amazingly fascinating. So look out for that one if I find an opportunity to use it. There's a lot of fascinating and interesting stuff that I found out just a couple of hours ago doing what's known as proper research.
Whether you are religious or not, you can see the flat earth for yourself.
I am an atheist. When I go down to the beach and stand at the edge of the sea, yeah, it all looks flat to me because I am so very, very tiny. But when I stand on the cliffs of Folkestone, I can see a little bit further and I understand what I'm looking at.
Is the Flat Earth Society behind the resurgence of the Flat Earth?
No, the Flat Earth Society is designed as a containment unit. Gatekeepers that tell the truth about some stuff, but then lie about other things in order to make it appear ridiculous or steer you in the wrong direction. For instance, this is what FES has to say about gravity. In the Flat Earth model, gravity, rather than being a force, is the upward acceleration of the flat Earth. The Earth always accelerates upward at 1g. If that isn't the biggest turnoff, I don't know what is.
Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and agree with him on this. The Flat Earth Society, originally when they started, were like the lone bastions of this train of thought. They have long since been completely rejected and abandoned by these other I won't say fringe flat earthers, but people who have gone over out on their own. So yeah, the Flat Earth Society is basically now a parody of itself, and no one's taken it seriously for years. And they're moving upwards through space at the rate of 1G. Yeah, that was that was so ridiculous. I think it actually led to the rather swift downfall of the credibility of the Flat Earth Society. So I do agree with the commentator in this example.
Real flat earthers have always been among us, but it wasn't until late 2014, early 2015, when Eric Dubay started making a lot of noise about the flat earth conspiracy and got people like myself on board.
Eric Dubay, now there's a name I haven't heard in a long time. Sorry, Eric Dubay. If anybody knows what Godwin's law is, I'd like to bring it in at this point. Again, speaking about the gentleman earlier about zetetic cosmogony, or whatever it is, zetetic astronomy, it doesn't matter about their character or what kind of a person they are. This guy accidentally killed one of his own kids. Eric Dubay is a confirmed Nazi. He's a white supremacist, anti-Semitic goit who makes raps about how wonderful Hitler was.
Hitler was cool and not a bad guy. Talmudic Jews, the control of your mind.
So I don't care how well put together his videos are. Level, next level, another level. I personally can't get past the fact that the guy idolises Hitler. And the funny thing is, that's the quote on his IMDb page. So I'll carry on with this a little bit to see how far he goes, but so yeah, we won't be having anything Eric Dubay related on this channel.
It took me 10 months of research before finally accepting the truth about where we live. Thanks to the many great flat earth researchers, content creators, and activists.
Researchers, content creators, and activists. So researchers and activists, basically the same person. Content creators, you're talking David Weiss, you're talking Nathan Oakley, you're talking David Thompson, Eric Dubay, Santos Benucci, CC, Level Up Observer, who is not a flat earther, he's a demonstrable realist. Citing them as the grounds for which you based your belief system on isn't a good starting point. It's the same old argument. Personal blogs, YouTube channels, Facebook pages. That isn't research.
Are all scientists, pilots, and members of the government in on it?
No, most scientists, pilots, and members of the government have been indoctrinated just as the rest of us have. If indeed some of these people did know the Earth is flat, they most likely wouldn't even speak out about it in fear of losing their job or ruining their reputation. The average scientist goes about everything they do with the spherical Earth already factored in. For mainstream science, questioning our current model is a huge no-no.
Yeah, because scientists generally, and this may be a shock to some people, they like to use facts as the basis for their work, not fantastical ideologies that have no basis in reality.
For pilots, computers do most of their work, not to take away from what they do because I personally appreciate it, and also pilots often switch out at stops, making it difficult to understand the real layout of Earth's land masses.
Yeah, because after flying for 8.5 hours, you're going to need a nap.
As far as government members and politicians go, besides high-ranking officials at NASA, which isn't government at all, it's safe to assume that they are not in the know and they are not knowingly perpetrating this lie. Very few people compared to the population of the world are enlightened to the flat Earth.
Now, another interesting point here, another sort of contradiction, is that he's just said that NASA isn't the government, but if you listen to 50% of the other flat earthers, they are the government, because they're all the same people, and they're all the same people lying to you. One of the things I did research when I did my video about schizotypy, or schizotypal personality disorder, was the prevalence of general conspiracy theories in general and how long they last. And there's actually a Wikipedia article. Now, remember, I said about Wikipedia being a much more credible source of information because it posts links and credible sources, everything down the bottom of the page. You can see where the information is coming from. Yes, it's edited by people, but then any erroneous elements generally get weeded out and it's 95% accurate. But the thing about conspiracy theories is there's a whole page dedicated to it, and the average lifespan of a government cover-up 9/11, International Space Station, all your conspiracy theories you can think of, flat Earth, etc. If it is a cover-up, the average lifespan for it before it is discovered to be true is about 3.5 years. 9/11 was 2001. Flat Earth has been going on for years. The International Space Station's been up for 20 years, something along those lines. If it was conspiracy, because of the amount of people that would need to be involved, somebody would have cracked by now, or somebody would have folded, or at least 5%, I think, it along those lines. So you can't hold on to a lie for that long, but somebody will want more money. So if you're trying to say that 330,000 people who work for NASA are all in on it, every single commercial pilot are all in it, because they all have to account for the curvature of the Earth or this, that and the other, then that's an amazingly large amount of money to go round, and there's going to be people who are willing to pay them more than their yearly wage for conclusive proof that what they're doing or what they're saying is a lie. Thus far it hasn't happened. I mean, the Earth's been around since Tuesday, 14, however many billions of years. The curvature of the Earth was discovered thousands of years ago, and it's just been verified and verified since then. The flat Earth belief is a relatively new thing, last couple of 100 years or so. But as I said before, with the patent for the Gleason map, even he was supposed to be some kind of bastion for the flat Earth. He said right at the bottom of that patent that he had to apply for to get this thing verified, he admitted it was a projection of a globe, and it actually says it's a projection at the top of the map.